Welcome everyone to our class today. It's 5 ways to create happy, harmonious relationships. And thank you so much for your presence and for your willingness to connect. I welcome also those of you who are going to be watching this video and that were not able to attend the class today. So thank you. And I'd like to let you know that this is a topic that is, as you all know, quite big, and it can be addressed in different angles. And the key here is to maybe be able to share with you some ideas. And even if you put into practice one that maybe you are not practicing at the moment, I think that would be um, beneficial, because there are so many aspects to relationships and we can always improve, and we always have the room to improve, to do better. And the first thing I like to share related to relationship is that we all obviously have experienced relationships with family members, with a significant other, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, uh, whoever that is, with colleagues, with neighbors, with coworkers, and in general with the human family, right? So we are all very familiar with relationships. And the question that I have for you right now is that all of your relationships have been harmonious? Well, most likely you are going to answer no. Some of them were, some of them were not harmonious, and in some of them there were lots of ups and downs, like a roller coaster. And then mm, some relationships I really wanted to get out of it as soon as I could. So I think every one of us have had all kinds of experiences with relationships. And the key mm, message here about relationships, dear friends, is that really they are a catalyst for us to be able to improve our qualities, to become a better version of ourselves every day, to really do what is correct. So relationships are a testing ground, and the invitation is always not to ever mm, blame anyone or complain about anyone or judge anyone, but instead be willing to investigate why this situation showed up in your life, in your relationship, and what is the lesson, what's the message that is bringing you, and to get busy to work with those aspects of yourself that you know that need some attention. You probably have heard that people are mirrors of what needs to change in ourselves. And for us to be able to embrace this idea, we must be humble and be willing to say, okay, if this person is being disrespectful, for example, where do I have the same behavior in me? Maybe not at the same level, but still, this person is a mirror of what needs to change in myself. For example, the disrespect maybe has to do with me not respecting my body and not eating properly, or it could be with me using alcohol or maybe cigarettes, or with me not getting enough sleep. So it it can be showing up in different ways. And the main thing is to have the humbleness to see what the other person is showing you for you to change in yourself. And if you have that humbleness, you are going to make great progress. So remember, relationships are a catalyst for us to change, to make progress in our spiritual journey, in our emotional journey, and for us to really let go of any barriers to love. That's what relationships are about. How many of you have been in relationships where you have had the opportunity to forgive? Probably all of you, right? All of us. Yes. So, for example, relationships can be an opportunity to forgive, even if the person really hurt us deeply. Still, we have to forgive them and be at peace inside. Or maybe the relationship was about us learning to accept others and not try to change people and to let go of control. So that's also a lesson that relationships can bring into our lives. Or maybe instead of me criticizing my partner or my friend or my significant other, I stop the criticism and I look within to see what needs to change in myself, because obviously every one of us has room for changes. So relationships, one more time, are a wonderful opportunity for us to make changes in our lives, to let go of what doesn't serve us, and mm, especially to return back to love, unconditional love. I believe that deep inside of each one of us, there is a yearning for um, harmonious relationships. There is a yearning for happiness. And the challenge is that we tend to look for that happiness outside of ourselves. We tend to put people in charge of our happiness instead of us deciding to be happy now and in the next moment and in the next moment. So the invitation for us is to really mm, uh, go inwardly and see what behavior I have to change to be able to embrace my happiness instead of trying to expect for others to behave in a certain way for us to be happy. That is really mm, a way for us to be disappointed when we do have expectations of others. When we accept people as they are, the more we are going to be able to have a harmonious relationship. Many, many challenges, as you know, come from the need to mm, the, come from expectations that we have, that we want people to behave in one way or another, basically control others. And the more we are willing to accept others the way they are, and the more we're willing to go inwardly, the more we are going to be able to find real solutions. Now, I have discovered throughout the years that the secret to find that happiness that we are all seeking is to go within and to realize that to be able to create anything positive and and worthy on the external in the external world, including harmonious relationships, the first thing we have to do is to start creating a very healthy and harmonious relationship with ourselves. That means to learn to love ourselves, to learn to respect ourselves, to accept ourselves, to be kind, to forgive ourselves, and to really acknowledge that happiness is our birthright. This is nothing that we have to beg for, but instead is a God given gift. God wants us to be happy, but we must choose to be happy by really embracing God's qualities like love, acceptance, kindness, generosity, humbleness, patience, all those beautiful qualities. And the more we are willing to embrace those qualities in ourselves, the more we're willing to do our part, the more we're going to be able to have harmonious relationships with others. Because first, it has to come from within for it to be an external manifestation. And why do I say this? Because my own life has been the mm, mm, the expression of that process of self-love. Many years ago, I did not love myself. I put myself down a lot. I was negative, and not only that, I had very bad temper, lots of lots of habits, negative habits that I needed to work on myself. However, for many years, I was so arrogant that I didn't see it as my responsibility. On the opposite, I blame others. And as a result of that, I ended up going through 2 divorces and many relationships that didn't work. But I always blame others. And so, what happened, fortunately, after the second mm, divorce is that I finally got into a little bit of humility and decided to seek help. And that totally changed my life because little by little, I was able to understand that I really needed to change some habits, to let go of behaviors that were not acceptable. And then it has been an amazing journey. And as a result of that, I have been able to build nice relationships with people, with my family members, with colleagues, you name it. It's been a very nice journey. So I learned to love myself. I learned to forgive myself. I learned to accept myself. Beautiful process. And one book that I highly recommend to everyone related to self-love is called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That book is a jewel, very beautiful book. And all she talks about is how we can learn to love ourselves. You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. It's also in Spanish in case anyone wants that book in Spanish. I'll be happy to also provide the information for you. And now I'd like to go ahead and share 5 ways that have helped me to create happy and harmonious relationships in my own life. But remember, really, the very first one is to create a relationship with yourself that is happy, that is harmonious, that is kind, that is uplifting. That's the first step, really. So let's go ahead and start with the first one here. That is the one that it says here, I didn't remember that I had included this here. You see what it says? To create happy, harmonious relationships, we have to start by creating a healthy and harmonious relationship with ourselves, to learn self-love, self-respect, self-acceptance, kindness, and to acknowledge that happiness is our birthright. As we are able to become masters of these qualities, we will feel at peace, and then we'll be able to share them with others. So this is the message, dear friends. If you feel that there is an area where you are being critical of yourself, that you are not accepting yourself, that you are feeling guilty about anything, really talk to your higher power, talk to God, talk to the Creator, and ask that Creator to help you to forgive yourself, to help you to accept yourself, and to see yourself the way He sees you. He only sees the wonderful being that He created. Everything else has been created by the ego. And what we need to do is reclaim our identity. So I invite you to reclaim your identity as a child of God. God does not really care about our mistakes. He wants us to get up and do the right thing anytime that we might go into error or anything that is not the highest. He wants for us to get up real fast. And as a matter of fact, when a mother is helping a baby learn to walk and the baby maybe falls down, the mother doesn't get upset or doesn't criticize the baby. The mother extends her hand and says to the baby, you can do it, you can do it. And the baby tries again until he's able to learn to walk. The same thing with God. He is inviting us to go ahead and get up, not to dwell on our mistakes. That is not what our creator or higher power, whatever way you call that higher power, does. He is love, and he wants for you to be happy. Happiness is our birthright. So here I like to go ahead and share in each one of the principles. The first one, be the harmonious person that you wish to attract. And the thing is that to be able to be a harmonious person, to attract people that are harmonious, you must be that, dear friends. The reason is because you are um, like a tower that is sending a vibration out, right? So what you want to do is send a vibration that is according to what you want to attract in your life. So if you want to attract a harmonious person, most likely you want to attract a person that is loving, that is kind, that is positive, that is generous, that is patient, all those things. But you gotta be that person first, because it's like wanting to get juice out of our own orange that is totally dry. We need to have that juice inside of us, the juice of those qualities, the quality of love, the quality of kindness. And then as we really embrace ourselves with those higher qualities, we are able to send a vibration out that is going to, by the law of attraction or the law of magnetism, attract the same kind. That's how powerful the law of attraction is, the law of magnetism. So become a magnetic person, become a person that is loving, that is peaceful, not a person that easily gets upset by anything that anyone says to you, or a person that criticizes others, a person that puts down people. No, be that, be the harmonious person that you wish to attract. And whether you want to attract a harmonious person in your relationships, like romantic, or it could be colleagues that are harmonious, or neighbors, or anyone else. But be that um, tower that is sending out a vibration of love, of peace, of joy. So we do have to be the example of how we want others to treat us. We want to be magnetic, and say if that people are able to see us treating others kindly, and then that is how we are going to attract kind people. Instead of waiting for others to be the change that we want to see, we must start by having the humility to be willing to change our behaviors and the beliefs that might be limiting us. So how many times have we been in situations where we want others to change and we really are stubborn about thinking that it's the other person's fault and that we are 100% free of fault? Well, obviously in a relationship it's 50-50, and that's where we need to sit down and communicate and see how we are going to make commitments with each other to make progress in the relationship, and that is by us communicating with each other, but not by blaming the other person and thinking that the other is the other person's fault. So very important, remember, be the change that you want to see in the world. Be that kind and loving and patient and peaceful person. And then you will attract those type of people. It's a guaranteed thing because it's called the law of magnetism or the law of attraction. Like attracts like, remember? So you must become that peaceful person, that harmonious person, that joyful person. Now, it doesn't have to happen overnight. You can work on one habit or one behavior one day at a time until you overcome that behavior that is probably not helping you. And then once you overcome that, then you go and with the next one, and little by little, step by step, you are going to be able to get to complete the journey of the 1,000 miles. That is how a journey of 1,000 miles is completed, is one step at a time. So be patient with this process. I'd like to invite you to go ahead and do an exercise with me, an introspection. And if that's okay with you, you can go ahead and close your eyes and think of 3 qualities that you would like to attract in people. It could be in a neighbor, in a colleague, in a romantic relationship, or in a relationship that you already have. Think of 3 qualities, just 3, that you would like to attract in people, in someone. Okay? 3. Now, go ahead and ask yourself very honestly, okay? Am I expressing to the highest level these 3 qualities? Am I expressing to the highest level these 3 qualities? Okay. And let's say that the answer is no for the 3 of them, or for 2 of them, or for 1 of them. Then my invitation is for you to go ahead and start working on 1 of them. Let's say it's the 3 of them that you still have room for improvement. Well, then go ahead and take 1 and start working on changing that quality or taking that quality to a higher level. And then once you feel comfortable, that you feel that you have made great progress, then you go with the next one. You see how beautiful that is? And God will be working with you right now, walking with you right there, helping you to embrace that quality or those qualities at the highest level. Okay, now I invite you to go ahead and take a deep breath and exhale, and then you can open your eyes. Then the second way to create happy, harmonious relationships is communicate and listen. You know quite well that this is a very important topic. This is key. And I do have a program, a practice, I should say, that is called Heart to Heart Talk, that is absolutely miraculous on how people are able to really communicate in a harmonious way. I'm going to share just a little bit about it, but if you are interested, the best thing to do is to set up a session with the person that you want to communicate with, and the two of you can learn the practice heart-to-heart talk. And what is this practice heart-to-heart talk? It's about you sitting with your partner, and then you can start the conversation by saying one thing that is very positive about the other. That's a wonderful way to start. Then after that, one of you decides to start, and the other person cannot at all say a word until the person who is talking says, I am complete. And so, for example, you can start by saying, I have been feeling lonely lately, and I wanted to talk to you about ways in which we can connect a little more. So try to express in a way not of judging or blaming, but how you have been feeling. And I wanted for us to have this meeting and see if we can maybe bring a little more joy and enthusiasm into the relationship. And then I am complete. So the other person has now the opportunity to talk, and they say, oh, well, I have been feeling also kind of the same. That's interesting. Like on my own, like not connected, and I was kind of inside of me blaming you. And thank you so much for bringing up this topic, so important. And then let's go ahead and talk about ways in which we can commit to improving our connection, and then having more fun. I am complete. And the other person says, okay, so let's go ahead. Well, how about us going to the movies at least once a month? And then how about us cooking together our dinner once a week? Or how about us going for a walk, even if it is just for half an hour at the end of the day or early in the morning? Those are my ideas. I am complete. So then the other person, oh, okay, I like those ideas and I like to add these other ideas. And I am complete. And then this person says, okay, then let's go ahead and write down a list of the commitments that we are creating here. And this way we can put this commitment in a visible place, and then honor this commitment. And then you, number one, we commit to going to the movies once a month. We commit to choosing tentatively what day we are going to the movies, so it becomes a reality. Um, Number two, we commit to, and then you write down a list, not too long, because it's not a good idea to write a long list. It's better to make it brief. And this way, you are able to really listen to the other person. Because how many times have you been in situations where you really are interrupted frequently by the other person, or you interrupt the other person and do not allow the other person to finish the sentence? Have you been there? That's quite frustrating, and as a matter of fact, quite disrespectful. So this way, it's important to communicate, yes, but also listen. Listening is so important. And in relationships, it doesn't matter what kind of relationships, it is crucial to express your feelings with about the different topics that show up in relationships. And very important that when you do have these heart-to-heart talks, that you do it with a lot of respect and calmness. This is not a place for you to scream at the other, like yeah, scream at the other person, or be disrespectful or put the other person down. That's not acceptable at all. That's not heart to heart talk. Heart to heart talk has to be with love. And so, very important to be willing to listen attentively without interrupting the other person, and choose to be peaceful instead of being right. How many times we want our ego to control, we allow our ego to control us by allowing the ego to say, I want to be right, I want to be right. And even if it becomes like a storm, no, be willing to be right, to be peaceful and say, it's okay. It doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, here at Ananda, they tell us a story about the founder of Ananda, that he used the phrase a lot. You might be right, when someone was kind of arguing or whatever. You might be right, and then you don't have to go into arguments at all. You can just say, okay, let me think about what you're saying, or let's I'd like to go ahead and you know, talk to ask God about my part on this. So basically, to be able to listen to another person and to not have to be right, you have to be humble. That's very, very important. And the communication with another person is so vital, because otherwise what we do is we assume things. We put in our minds ideas that maybe are not even there at all. And if we don't talk to the other person, how is the other person going to tell us how he or she feels? So don't make any assumptions. Another book that I highly recommend is called The Four Agreements. And one of the agreements is don't make any assumptions. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. That's a very powerful book. I love that book, and it's so beautiful how he teaches four agreements and how important they are. Okay. So now I'd like to invite you to do an introspection with me about this second way of creating happy, harmonious relationships. Go ahead, and if that's okay with you, you can close your eyes. And then uh, this is the question: how is my level of communication? Do I listen attentively, or do I interrupt frequently? Do I listen attentively, or do I interrupt frequently? Do I tend to talk about me in my communications? And then the last one, am I willing to improve my communication? How? So if your answer is I interrupt frequently, then the how means that you are being invited to just listen and stay quiet and be willing to do it, to practice. And if you tend to be the center of attention and talk about you and more of you, me, then the how you are going to improve could be that you are going to let people talk about themselves. How? By you asking them, how is your family? How are your kids? How is this? You can talk about so many different things, asking people and getting interested in people, getting really mm, with sincerity, obviously, getting interested in people. Okay. So now let's go ahead and take a deep breath and then exhale. Beautiful. The third way to improve, to create happy relationships is always have the humility to apologize when you know that you are in error. So if you realize that you have made a mistake, the ideal would be to to say I'm sorry right away. You don't have to say I'm sorry 1,000 times. Obviously, just once is enough. And be willing to express that you are sorry for your mistake, and then share how you are going to be more attentive with your new behavior in the future. And then really be willing to mm, to say to the other person, I'm sorry if I hurt you. Okay, because that's the key. Is it's a person could have been hurt by what you did, and then if you say I'm sorry if I hurt you, and again you can just say it one time, and the other person's responsibility is also to say, okay, I forgive you, and then just be willing to let go of the maybe any resentment or any thing that you might feel that is not exactly in alignment with love. Okay, so be willing to forgive right away. Now, obviously, if the person, sometimes happens in relationships that one of the partners want for you to apologize constantly, and then keep apologizing for the same thing. Right there you would have to have a heart to heart talk and say to the person, listen, I really truly apologize, and I'd like to see how we can overcome this. And I know I made a mistake, but I cannot feel if keep feeling guilty for what I did. I think somehow we have to find a way to overcome this situation, this feeling. That's very, very important. And then also, obviously, it's important to know that if one of the partners, one of the in the relationship, one of the people is disrespectful or abusive, you probably have to learn how to set up boundaries, and be strong about it with respect, and say that I don't like the way you're talking to me right now. We must stop this conversation immediately. I appreciate if you please still treat me with respect. So that's another level too, is that you must be willing to set up boundaries when necessary. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and mm, close your eyes for a moment for an introspection. And what I like to do is invite you to think about a situation where you feel you owe an apology to someone. So maybe maybe it happened a long time ago, maybe it happened recently. So think about a situation where you might feel you owe an apology to someone. And then go into your heart and feel how you open the doors of your heart, and you just say to yourself, you can even say your own name. Let's go ahead and resolve this. Let's go ahead and apologize. And then what you do is you either write a little letter, nothing telling the whole situation again. No, you do not bring up the whole situation. All you have to do is just say, I'm so sorry. I know I made a mistake and I wanted to apologize. You can then send a message, a text message, an audio message, or you can send an email, or you can also, if you want, you can also connect with the person and say to the person, I'd like to see you. But again, do not bring again the whole story, the whole situation, and do not defend yourself at all if the other person says, yes, but you did this and this and this. All you do is just say, I'm sorry, yes, I did. And all I wanted to do today was to apologize. That's it. So it doesn't have to be anything dramatic, but to the point. And so now I invite you to commit to apologizing to this person that you thought about within the next 3 days. And that way you go ahead and resolve the situation. That's my invitation. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath and then exhale. Beautiful. And then the next way for you to create harmonious relationships is accept people as they are. Oh my goodness, I think this is probably the most important of all of them are important, but this one is like the jewel, really. Make room for the differences, meaning that people are going to have different points of view, different opinions. Why? Because number one, they grew up in a specific environment with the specific parents with the specific experiences. Number two, their world and the way they see the world might be different from the way you see the world. So be willing to accept different points of view or perspectives. And we all have the right to be treated with dignity, and this is accepting others. And instead of, no one is going to grow by criticizing them constantly. It's not possible. And I always talk about this, that if you don't have anything to say to someone, do not open your mouth. That zip it, okay? Because that way you don't get in trouble, you don't send a vibration out into the world that is the wrong one, and you don't create bad karma for yourself. Because remember, if you um, fight and criticize and put down people, they are going to do the same, because someone is going to do the same, because it's the law of cause and effect. So be willing to to remember that people have the right to think the way they do, and then their beliefs and their habits have been created and marked by their own experiences in their lives. And then remind yourself that it is okay to respectfully disagree. You can disagree, but without argument, without fighting. And if it gets to a point where it's escalating, you can just say, you might be right about this. And then you can say, okay, I'm going to let it go for now. I like to go ahead and talk about something different, and you just let go. Yeah. So, and accept others as they are. Do not try to change them. And there are a couple of situations where, let's say, that people could be abusive. That is totally different. We have to respect ourselves and really stop any abuse, let's say verbal abuse. Okay. We must say, no, this is not acceptable. So we are not going to accept the abuse of people just because. No, that's a different situation. Okay. So we do have the right to set up a boundary and to say, no, this is not acceptable. And then the other possibility is that you are in a relationship and you really have a difficult time accepting the other person. Well, there are many things that you can do to change the energy. Number one is to start by trying to see the positive aspects of this person to the best of your ability, to focus on the positive instead of keep focusing on the negative, because your ego wants you to focus on the negative. Number two, you can seek counseling for sure, and then see how you are able to come to an agreement on how you can compromise and commit to each other, to supporting each other. Yeah. And number three is to really take a look at your own mm, mm, behaviors or patterns, because remember, this person is a mirror of what you don't like in yourself. So working on yourself and being willing to do your part to change yourself is going to help the relationship tremendously. And another one that is very powerful, very effective, dear friends, is prayer. Pray for the other person, pray for the couple. And as a matter of fact, if the other person is open, go ahead and try to read a passage from a sacred book every night before you go to sleep, if the other person is open. So that's a wonderful way to really embrace mm, the differences by getting closer in that commitment to God. And so you can read the two of you one passage of sacred book, and this can help tremendously to shift the energy in your hearts, both of you. So there are lots of things that can be done to it change that feeling of not wanting to accept people as they are. And I invite you to go ahead and do this introspection with me. Close your eyes and think of a person that you have been attempting to change some aspect of his or personality. So someone that you, oh, if this person was like this, then I would be happy, or whatever. So think of someone that maybe you have been attempting to change with your thoughts, with your with the way you feel. Okay, so change him or her, one person. Then the next question is, are you willing to accept him or her completely and let go of the control? And here, this is very important, the word control, meaning that ego wants to be the one in charge. I invite you to be willing to ask God to help you to accept this person, to help you to see this person with his eyes. And then ego is going to have to step aside and let your soul really be victorious. So, with prayer, with the intention, you can definitely set up the intention to make the changes, to let go of the control. God, give the control to you. Help me to see this person with your eyes. Help me to see what it is that I need to change in myself. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a deep breath and then exhale. Beautiful. Then you can open your eyes. And the last one is the the last way to improve or take your relationships to a higher level is be the best version of yourself. Dear friends, this is a topic that for some reason I have been repeating a lot in my coaching sessions, and it's absolutely amazing. And I am paying attention myself, obviously, about being the best version of yourself. And let me explain, is that every day we can do a little bit. Let's say that today I was tempted to criticize someone. And then I go, no, no, no. Today I want to be the best version of myself. And so it's like, I'm going to go ahead and keep my mouth totally zipped, no comments. And if I have thoughts, I'm going to go ahead, negative thoughts, I'm going to go ahead and give them to God. And it works because every day you establish a nice, healthy habit. For example, in the area of no criticism, no judgment. Okay. Or let's say that I tend to complain. So let's say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and sit down and have this dinner like it's the best dinner I have ever had in my entire life. No complaints. Do you know that at that moment you are becoming the best version of yourself? And it's just like that, my dear friends. It doesn't have to happen overnight at all. It can be one little step at the time in different areas. Let's say that you were tempted to lie, to say a lie. And inside of you, you say, no, I am working on becoming the best version of myself. No lies. No, no, no. And then you just like, okay, you don't say the lie. Right there, you became the best version of yourself. So we do have the opportunity every single day to become the best version of ourselves, to expand our energy to our highest potential. And how we do that? By expressing the highest qualities that can help us grow and then can help us also nourish our relationships. And what are those qualities? Dear friends, we know them. The qualities are the quality of love, the quality of kindness, the quality of peace, the quality of equanimity, the quality of generosity, the quality of patience, the quality of compassion. You see that every day we do have an opportunity and it's not that difficult. You can, at that moment when you are about to do the opposite of kindness, you say, no, I am working on being the best version of myself. So I'm going to go ahead and do what is right. So you see how powerful that is, dear friends? It's an amazing thing. I don't know, but I have been repeating this idea to many people lately, really almost every day. Become the best version of yourself. And it doesn't have to happen overnight. It can be just one moment at a time. And dear friends, let me ask you this question. Don't you think that as you become the best version of yourself, don't you think that your relationships are going to improve? Yes, of course. It's a given. They will improve because we are becoming calmer. We are becoming nicer, kinder, more loving. It's obvious that is going to improve our relationships in all areas, romantic and with colleagues, with God, with friends, every area. So, very important, dear friends, to remember this. Do it one step at a time. Become the best version of yourself every day. And when you go to bed for at night, you can close your eyes and say to yourself, thank you so much, dear one. Thank you for your willingness to become the best version of yourself. I think you did a wonderful job today. I am so happy. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. And can you imagine how wonderful that is to go to bed and to sleep, knowing that I did try, that I did my best? That's my invitation, dear friends. So I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes for a moment and let's do an introspection. What is one quality that you can work on during this month to help you become a higher version of yourself? What is one quality that you can work on during this month to help you become a higher version of yourself? Think about that quality, one for now, and then once you are done with it, you can move on to the next one. Okay? Then commit every day to take steps to move toward your goal. Commit every day to take the steps to move toward your goal. That means that if it is that I gotta be less critical, I gotta love myself more, I gotta complain less, I gotta be more grateful, well, that's it. You keep working on that until you become a master. And then you move on and then go take the next area or quality that you want to um, work on on your life, in your life. Okay? So now go ahead and take a deep breath and exhale. Very nice. Beautiful. So I invite you to consider all these 5 ways to create happy, harmonious relationships and to practice them this month. Number 1, be the harmonious person that you wish to attract. Number 2, communicate and listen. Number 3, apologize when in error. Number 4, accept people as they are. Number 5, be the best version of yourself. And the good news is that you can come back to this recording and listen to it or see it as many times as you want, because I'm going to send the recording to everyone. And that's a wonderful way for you to keep becoming the best version of yourself. That's my invitation, my dear friends. Now, if you really want to even go deeper, there is a wonderful program that I have been doing for a long time. It seems like it's been 22 years. 12 Steps to Mastery coaching program. This program creates very amazing transformation in people, and the key is because it's an in-depth program and is designed for people to go into into their interior, into their themselves, to find the negative conditioning that might be controlling his or her life. And then the program, step by step, is going to show you how to overcome the limiting patterns, the limiting beliefs, the limiting habits, and then remove the root programming from childhood. What is masterful about this program is that it's able to help you clearly see the roots from childhood and then remove them again step by step. And it's a program that it's lasts for 16 weeks, and you are welcome to go to this website to check out the information, and you're welcome to send me an email too, and I'll be happy to let you know what the cost of the program is and everything, that all the other details. One more thing I'd like to say about this program is one amazing and beautiful testimonial that I got from a person by the name is Cindy Shepard, certified life success coach. And she says, being a certified life coach myself and having taken many courses, investing hundreds of hours in personal study, I am stunned at how Gloria Ramirez 12 Steps to Mastery program has uncovered hidden programs still operating in my subconscious mind. Even more surprising is how fast Gloria is able to identify, unlock, and release these programs using her innate God-given talents. I encourage everyone to give themselves to give themselves the opportunity to really set themselves free at last. Get in, commit to play full on, and you are assured a life of joy and abundance. Yes, this program totally transforms you, and that's the program that originally transformed me many years ago. Not exactly the same, but it's based on the same principle, the 12 steps. So I invite you to consider this. Now, let's say that this is not what you like to um, do at the moment, then really remember that I do obviously 1 hour coaching and sessions, and you're welcome to also check my website gloriaramirez.com and check out all the testimonials that I have about my coaching practice. And now I'd like to remind you that the first Thursday of every month, I will be having a monthly inspirational class like this one. And the way you can register, going to the homepage. And the next one is going to be 5 ways to create and maintain inner and outer harmony. This is a beautiful topic, and it's going to be December the 1st. and it's 5 p.m. California, 8 p.m. Florida. And you can register again by going to www.gloriaramirez.com. So and you are welcome to invite anyone. All you have to do is just give them the link, and then there is a registration page. Okay. And then if you feel that you have been inspired by this class, consider making a contribution by going to gloriaramirez.com, giving. I also have the cash application. I also have Zelle, and I have Venmo. I have different platforms that you can use. All you have to do is let me know that you would like to contribute because you have received inspiration from this class. My email is love@gloriaramirez.com. Love, LOVE @gloriaramirez.com. And you let me know how you would like to contribute. Thank you so much. And then I thank you for your presence. And I thank you for those of you also who are going to be listening to this recording, and you are welcome to share it with others. And now we're going to go ahead and enter into the Q&A questions. And probably you have some questions about relationships, or you want to share about your experience with this class today. So let me go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording, this recording now, and then start a new one. Stop recording.